Battletech rules that you don't want to forget. Battletech rules that are obscure. Battletech rules that come up in the moment. We want to look to take advantage of that tactica. That's what we're going to explore in this Battletech Tactica. And I'm going to be sharing 2 rules. 2, don't forget about this, because it happens every now and then. 1, possibly more frequently than you think. And over the course of a game, it's going to really, really pay off dividends. And other times, look, when lances start mixing up and we get to danger close, sometimes this happens and we possibly want to take advantage of it. Okay, within that framework and exploring it, there's this idea, if we look at Battletech, we're stepping out for a moment here, at the beginning of the game, whether you're playing a lance, 2 lances, combined arms, whatever that battle value is, you are at your absolute maximum, your absolute best in the game. And every single turn, you're going to get weaker and weaker and weaker. By making mistakes, by taking damage, the battle value is going to decrease. The efficiency of your mechs is going to decrease. Hopefully, slower than your opponent, but every turn you're getting weaker and weaker. Anytime that we can do something to slow that down, and I'm not talking about like hiding in the corner of the hex map, but anytime we can do something to slow that down, over the course of every single game, that adds up. I guess another example would be if I had an awesome mech, literally an awesome assault mech, and I've got 3 PPCs that I can fire. If I was in a campaign and I couldn't resupply and repair and I had to scrap one of those PPCs, that's essentially guaranteed every single turn a miss, because I'm only firing 2 instead of 3. Over the course of the battle, that adds up tremendously. Every miss adds up tremendously. So anything we can do to cut that down, very, very important. Okay, now here's the framework. Battletech's pretty specific about its terrain and the hexes. It really leaves no room for misinterpretation, which is a really, really great thing. Here's the hex, where's the facing, count it out. Here's the range. What level is it? What type of terrain is it? When you move to a wargaming table or a more kind of traditional 3D type terrain, you have to make some adjustments, but similar. The rules are very, very clear. If I'm standing behind, let's call it an object or a terrain piece, and my legs are obscured, and you fire at me, and it hits, you score that hit, but then when we go to the damage transfer, the legs, the object takes the damage. If part of my mech is obscured somewhere and the damage transfers to that level, the object takes that. Now, whether we play with alternate routes for buildings taking damage or structure or things going on fire, that's a separate way. But as you maneuver around the hex map, looking for the possibility to maybe obscure yourself a little bit, hide some pieces of that machine, see what you can do there, because it does add up. If I can absorb or negate 1 or 2 shots a turn, that adds up fantastically, especially in larger battle value games, or it eats the entire shot. So against heavies and assault mechs, not that I want to get hit by a medium laser or a little SRM 2-pack, but looking at it from that other perspective, autocannon 10s, PPCs, if they get soaked up by the object, that is really, really massive. So looking for that and being aware of, if you're playing with those obscuring rules, tactically. Now, the second part, mechs take a lot of damage, things happen, limbs get blown off. When a limb gets blown off, it's assumed to be resting in that hex on there. So you can put a little token, or you can make a marker of the number on the hex map, or you can just, like I've done many times, forget about it. It is an improvised weapon. It is a weapon that a mech can pick up and start bashing things with for additional damage properties. Being aware of that when that happens, and if you have a mech that can do that, obviously like a Jenner is not going to be picking that up, but if you have a mech that can possibly pick that up and you're scrapping really, really close and you're getting into physical attacks, suddenly every single mech is an Axeman. So being aware of that possibility, it automatically happens. That one's a little bit different in that some rules in Battletech you can decide to play or not play. the rules are, if it gets blown off, it's in that hex. So utilizing that tactica and knowing it's there for some possibilities for mixing it up for close attacks, charge attacks, and things like that. All right, turning it over to you, my fellow Battletech enthusiasts and mech warriors. What are some of those rules? They could be optional rules too, like the partial obscurement. What are some of those rules out there that, look, we should just be mindful of, because they tend to come up. And again, any little tactical advantage that we can do to slow down the loss and increase the loss for our opponent on the table, that's massive. That is really, really important. What should we be aware of, and what should we be on the lookout for tactically for it to happen?